Is it? Hey, this is, you are listening to Bras Panties and Sports. I'm Spitface, and I'm here with the always classy and sometimes sassy host of this show, the First Lady of Sports Talk, the one and only Cheryl Smith, and she's coming to you live, that's right, from sunny Florida.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Is it sunny in Florida today, or was it rainy?
No, it's sunny. It's very hot, to be honest.
Summer for Florida has arrived.
Right. It is. It's here now.
All right. Well, check out the music this week on Shout Out. We are featuring performances from Redme. That's Redme. Redme. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Heddub. And Heddub, Heddub. Heddub. So, Redme Heddub. I got to look that one up. Will he find his shining star, get the cold feel of the mute button? First Lady was something much easier to say. What you saying?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world, not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdies known as the Miami Heat wish they could fly far away from being eliminated from the playoffs by the Milwaukee Bucks. Unfortunately, the Butler couldn't serve it up, and the Heat were swept out of the playoffs. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Is this beatdown by the Bucks a wake-up call to the New Jersey Nets? Marvelous Marvin Hagler, rest in peace. Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr., and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, Spitface, I don't know if you remember, I predicted that the Bucks would beat the Heat in 4 games. I'm not sure if I said it on the show, but I definitely
you said it, First Lady. I remember you saying it, First Lady.
Okay, all right. I knew this was going to happen because the Bucks, they wanted the Miami Heat. The Heat played the Bucks at the end of the regular season. The Bucks could have easily sat all their players and let the Heat win, and they would have not have faced the Heat in the playoffs. However, the Bucks played all of their starters and beat the Heat. It was like 122 to 108. So the Bucks wanted revenge against the Heat for being knocked out of the playoffs in the bubble last season, and that's what they wanted to do. So they were really waiting for the Miami Heat, and unfortunately, the Heat and the Bucks, they definitely were not the same team as when they were in the bubble. Did you know, Spitface, that the Bucks completely revamped their entire team? They have 11 new players on their roster. They replaced Eric. 11 new players.
Wait. That ain't called revamp. That's just a new team.
That's right. They replaced Eric Bledsoe with Drew Holiday, who is a big upgrade in the offense and the defense. And they have Brian Forbes. He's like a third-year player. He's been fantastic. He was really lighting it up against the Miami Heat. And Bobby Portis, man, oh, man. Bobby Portis played with the Knicks. He left the Knicks. The Knicks wanted him to come back, but he said he wanted to play for a contender. Boy, oh, boy, could the New York Knicks use Bobby Portis right now. Trust me on that, because he's a big man, and he's a big man. He can score inside, and he can score outside. And, of course, they got P.J. Tucker mid-season. So we know how P.J. Tucker is. He added some depth to their bench, which they definitely improved greatly with these additions, because I'm going to tell you, they just really totally outplayed the Miami Heat bench. It wasn't even a contest when it came to the bench play. And, but unfortunately for the Bucks, they did lose one of their key players. They lost Dante DiVincenzo. I cannot pronounce his name, but he's out for the season because he has a torn ligament in his foot. But it will be a big loss. But they had to move Pat Connaughton to the start, and guess who they brought off the bench to replace Connaughton on the bench? Jeff Teague. You know what, Smith? I forgot Jeff Teague was even on their bench because he really had not been playing that much all year, and that just shows you how deep this Bucks team is because you bring in Jeff Teague. You remember Jeff Teague played with Atlanta Hawks all them years, and he was a great point guard. So anyway, the Bucks definitely played really well, and I'm going to say yes, it is a big wake-up call for the Nets. Now, the two teams eventually will meet in the second round because the Nets eventually will take care of the Celtics. I think they're up right now 3-1. I was very surprised that the Celtics were even able to get a win against the Nets, but the Nets, what's his last name? Anyway, the Celtics young player, Jason, I can't remember his last name right now, he had a great game. He scored over 50 points, and that's how he was able to beat the Celtics. But, because of the fact that the Bucks swept the Heat, they're going to be resting. So it could be a good thing or a bad thing, because if they rest too long, that's going to be unfortunate for the Bucks because they'll be rusty. But hopefully the Celtics will eventually win their series, and then we can get on with this Bucks next series. And I believe those are probably the two best teams in the East, and they're going to be playing in the second round. Now, everybody's going to say the Sixers because the Sixers were the number one team in the East. But I'll be honest with you, I think it's going to come down to the Bucks and the Nets as far as who's going to get out of the East. The East is really is a beast now. The East is really becoming great, just as great as the West. So, and the one good thing about this year's playoff is very unpredictable who are going to be in the finals. It was similar to what the bubble was, but we got to take the bubble as a different situation. But normally we know who's going to be in the finals in the NBA. But this year, it's undetermined, to be honest with you. So that just tells you how great the season has been. I think they should keep it at that 72 games because that means the games mean a lot now. And the play-in tournament, that's another thing that's great, too, because it's making teams play at the end of the season like they weren't before. And now they have something to play for at the end of the season. So this year playoff has been excellent. Spitface, what are you saying about this?
Yeah, one thing, the Butler couldn't serve it up, and he had the team he had. As you said, First Lady, Milwaukee went out. They went and got them just a new team. Well, that didn't happen for the Heat. The Heat didn't go out and get a new team, so they hit lightning in a bottle last season. But I do look for the Butler to leave Miami and become a New York Knick. He is going to somehow he's going to be back with his buddy Tibby, and I go, watch out, because the Knicks could use a Jimmy Butler. They could use him. And I know that the foregone conclusion is that the New Jersey Nets will win it all. Now, I am not in that camp. I am not in the camp that the Nets are going to win it all. Not by any stretch. I am still in the camp that they will not make it to the finals to win it all. That they are going to get knocked out. And the Milwaukee Bucks are going, hello. We's here and we's coming. As a matter of fact, come to us. Now, I know that the Nets had the advantage that when James Harden starts to disappear, they got some really nice play. They got KD. They got. So it's like, hey, they didn't exactly have to have him to be competitive to win it all in the first place. They already had strong shots. But with him and with Blake Griffin, that's right, they went and got Blake. With Blake, it's like, okay, look, done deal, sealed. No. Watch these Milwaukee Bucks, and I'm going Bucks in 6. That's my outrageous.
Did you just say the New Jersey Nets? You forgot New Jersey. Ben left New Jersey. Ben left New Jersey.
That's right. They Brooklyn Nets. That's right. Hey, but they would go wish they was in New Jersey at the end of this series.
I know they will wish they're in New Jersey because everybody care more about the Knicks than the Nets in New York. But anyway, you know what? With Jimmy Butler, there have been some rumors about him. One of the big-time pundits reported that there's been some conflict between Butler and the Heat coaches. So that may lead into some of the things that you're saying, Spitface, and maybe he will go play with Tibbs. But, unfortunately for the Heat, they had a lot of issues with, the beginning of the season, they had people with COVID, injuries, trades. They had traded for Oladipo, and he's sitting home, had recent surgery. So they just had a lot of in and out in their lineup, and unfortunately, hey, they just couldn't put it all together. But, the Heat will come back up next year. We'll hopefully see, because, the Godfather, Pat Riley, he's always going to look for that next big whale in the sea. All right, over to you, Spitface.
Don't call her to come back. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear, making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering, over the competition I'm towering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest that all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm going to knock you out. Mama said knock you out. We are talking about the knockout punch to Father Time by Phil Mickelson. Phil is the oldest man to win a PGA championship or a major and has solidified his spot as a golf and sports legend. Phil had a game for the ages. Is it time for him to bow out while he's on top? Considering everything after this will be downhill and probably fast. Leroy Satchel Paige, Walter Buck Leonard, and James Cool Papa Bell are asking what you said. First Lady, I don't even like Phil. That's because I'm a Tiger fan, because it was Tiger Phil. Tiger was, getting the bulk of the Tiger Phil matchups. But, so I like that they had that competition. But other than that, I don't really like Phil. But and I do like the fact that over 50 in, sports, as they say, is a young person's game at the, quote, professional level. Because, you can still, at over 50, get your group of over 50 buddies and throw the football around and then go eat some barbecue and drink some beer and have a good time. You could always do that. Or go out there with your buddies and shoot some hoops, But you ain't, running up and down, with a bunch of 18, 20-year-olds, and you 50-something. That matchup don't work. So, Phil basically, he got in a good punch against Father Time. But Phil, look, do not let your head get big. I know they was reporting how he was, being in his quiet place, in between, shots and stuff. He'd go to that place. Well, that place to say that, look, your ass done won. You better take this championship and say, hey, sayonara, I went out a winner. Because everything after this is going to be losing. So, Phil, sometimes, you want to go out on top. You want to go out, just like those shows that, those top TV shows that they're like, oh, well, why are they going to care? Because they know that, you know what, right now we at that sweet spot, but it's not going to get too much better, which means we're going to go down. And you want to leave on top. So, Phil, congratulations for knocking out Father Time, but Father Time is going to come back with more than a sucker punch. First Lady, what you saying?
Well, Phil has had a remarkable career. He's won 3 master tournaments. He won in 2004, 2006, and 2010. He's won the PGA Championship twice, including this recent victory. He's won the Open Championship, and the Open Championship it was formerly called the British Open. They switched it to the Open Championship. He won that in 2013. That was the last time that he had won a major, was in 2013. The only tournament to elude Phil is, believe it or not, the U.S. Open. He has finished second place 5 times. So it's tough for Phil to win these majors because there are so many great young players on the tour, And, considering that he had gone 8 years before he won his last major championship, you would think he should retire because he just won one. And like you said, retiring while you're on top. But I don't think he should retire because he hasn't won an U.S. Open. So I think he should continue to compete until he can win that title, because that's the only title that he has not captured. And he's still competitive. Even against these young golfers, he's still competitive. And many golfers, they continue to play well into their 50s and still win tournaments. Gary Player, he won a tournament. Now, he may not have won a major, but he still won a tournament on the PGA Tour at the age of 63. So the key to golfing when you're at an older age is how far can you hit the ball off the tee. If you can still hit that ball off the tee and you have the power to do it and you still have the stamina to compete, I mean, with that being said, is obviously that Phil can still compete on the tour because he just won. He just won. So I think Phil needs to delay joining the senior circuit for several years, to be honest with you. That's how I feel about it.
All right. Well, First Lady, Phil. First Lady say, go Phil. Don't slack up. Go Phil. All right. Okay. See Phil running around there with a cane and a golf stick and a cane at the same time. I thought about, oh, bad Phil. First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Coming up next, we'll have a performance from Redme Heddub on Shout Out Part 1.
Go Phil. Welcome back. The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout-out from the panel. First Lady, I can't wait to hear the music from Redme Heddub.
On Shout-Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout-out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. Today we are featuring the music from Redme Heddub. He says, I am very happy to introduce Redme Heddub Band. Redme has a passion for performing his own brand on the top 10 instrumental melodies in R&B, reggae, pop, C&W styles of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today's music. All right. I think that covers about all the music genres. All right, DJ. Let's hear
he got
my
country
Danya.
and
Tonight, by the shore, I stand there waiting once more. She said she will meet me there like before. Oh yes, but be that all, she will believe in me. Why did I see the sad reality? Why did I stand there so long? Whoa, she's gone. The moon, she's shining bright tonight, and my dinner, she's leaving me tonight. The moon, she's shining bright tonight, and my dinner, she's leaving me tonight. Some say she's cool, others that I'm a fool. For me, here I stay and try to stay cool. Oh yeah. The moon, she's shining bright tonight on my dinner. She's leaving me tonight. The moon, she's shining bright tonight on my dinner. She's leaving me tonight. The moon, she's shining bright tonight.
Okay, all right. That was Redme Heddub. Well, anyway. Spitface, I hate to say this. I'm going to hit the mute on that particular song. Number one, the production was not as good as I thought it was going to be. It seemed like the music was drowning his voice. Now, I don't know if it had anything to do with on our end or was it on the artist end. But and then that particular genre of music is not my style of music. So for those two reasons, I'm going to hit the mute button. What do you think, Spitface?
Now, even, I mean, there are some genres that are just so much I'm not into. Like when you get into bluegrass, stuff like that, you know, like that just, you know, I can't even get a good appreciation to get how they like it, you know. So, you know, but that's like, you know, out there, okay, for me. Now, I don't know what the hell genre he was in, you know, the production. I'm going, what production? You know, there was a production, and you know, so I don't know if he was trying to be reggae. I don't know if he was trying to be. I don't know what the hell he was. He was but whatever was going on, it you know, hit the mute. I was just being respectful because I didn't want to beat you to the punch of hitting the mute button. But maybe it is better on that next track. But right now, mute.
Okay.
Only thing good about that track was it was not long, so I didn't have to suffer.
Okay, well, we're not trying to be harsh on Redme Heddub, but our part two is we'll have another performance from him. And hopefully he'll go better than the first performance. All right, is that the sound of my favorite underwater friend? Is it time for Flip It?
They call him Flipper, faster than lightning. No one you see and we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonder, lying there under the
sheet. Redme, you can take some tips from Flipper because his production is always flawless. It is time for Flip It, where our hosts defend a point and then flip the script and defend the opposing view. Julio Jones, the future Hall of Fame wide receiver for the Atlanta Falcons, says, I'm out of here. I'm out of there. Defend Julio, Aaron, Deshaun are all under contract and one out of town. It's time to hold the line before the floodgates burst with unhappy players demanding to be traded. You know, part of me goes back to the George Halas era. Now, there was a famous quote by a player for the Chicago Bears, and it was, George Halas throws around quarters like they manhole covers. In other words, the brother was, George Halas was tight. He wasn't giving up a nickel, you know. But one of the things Halas said was, look, if you sign a contract, you know, that's putting your word, we both agree, we should both honor what we put in there. If we don't honor our end, then you got a right to say, look, you ain't honoring your part. If you don't honor your end, we got a right to say, look, you didn't honor your part. You know, honor the contract. Now, times have changed, and players have been able to stomp their feet, and a lot of, you know, not a lot, but there have been those who have said, well, look, you know what, I'll sit out the season. Now, with all the ways that the player agreements have been set out, they make that detrimental, okay? But if you really want out, you know, that is the ultimate thing. I will not take your money, and that's fair. But it's time for a lot of these teams, because what will happen if this continues is that, Julio, Aaron Rodgers, and I kind of say Deshaun, but mainly Julio and Aaron. Julio and Aaron have been on their teams for a long time. They brought a lot of success. They put in a lot of good faith. They've honored more than one contract. They have. They've honored more than one contract. So, you know, it's not a matter of that okay, now suddenly, you know, I don't like it here, I want to leave, you know, and you ain't fulfilled on nothing. Now, I go, Deshaun, hey, you know, we're going to give you everything, you know, but, you know, maybe we didn't handle, you know, and bruise your feelings, but we paid your money. You know, we are honoring the contract. In the contract, it don't say that you get right of first refusal. You know, to the personnel we're going to put around here. Aaron Rodgers ain't got that in his contract. He done proved he got a ring. So, but I think that they got to start putting a lid on this. Otherwise, they're going to have players who 2-3 years, you know, or players who done just signed a contract, all of a sudden they got an issue. And players pick up on trends. If they say, hey, look, I ain't going to have to, you know, really, I can sign that contract and I know that next season, you know, I can just get out of it. You know, so they need to hold the line before it starts becoming rampant, and then it's going to be detrimental to the whole league. First Lady, defend.
You know, in the NBA, Spitface, players demand trades all the time. But this is a new issue in the NFL. There already has been a few high-profile players demanding to be traded, like you said, Julio, Aaron, and Deshaun. And teams need to reject this behavior immediately and stand their ground. To be honest with you, teams need to be like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who held their line with Le'Veon Bell. Now, if you remember, Le'Veon Bell was given multiple franchise tags. the Steelers refused to acquiesce to Bell's demand, and they decided to go with the next man up mentality. It worked for a while for the Steelers, but it didn't really work out for Le'Veon. You remember, he held out for 10 weeks. He forfeited $8.6 million, and when he re-signed with the Jets, he never collected the money back from his next contract. That was actually the contract he signed with the Jets was actually less money per year than if he had signed that second franchise tag with the Steelers. So that was the whole issue. He didn't want to sign that second franchise tag. So he called himself staying out for the whole year. Now, it's going to be a problem if this behavior is continued to be allowed. If these teams don't stand pat with these players, because, I mean, like you said, Spitface, you know, teams need to stand their ground to prevent the floodgates from opening up. And like you said, history and patterns, and like you said, this is they'll follow the next man. So if it's allowed to be done, oh my goodness, the NFL, you got a problem on your hands.
All right. So now, this is flipping where we flip the script, so we're going to go the opposite view. Players have learned if they are the cream of le crop and they pout enough, eventually the team will acquiesce and let them go. Get rid of them and get some good draft picks. Now, in today's NFL, I'll just say that, as they say, the horse has left the barn, jumped the fence, is down the road, and it's too late to get the posse. It's gone. They have learned that. Now, the caveat is they've learned that le cream of le crop can pout, and eventually the team will acquiesce and let them go. If you're not the, quote, cream of the crop, players know that, hey, I'm expendable. It's just like, you look at the NBA during the Michael Jordan era. Yes, Michael Jordan got to do stuff nobody else on the team got to do because he was who? Michael Jordan. And they go, now look, if you get out there and do what he do, then you get to have these little extra perks. And maybe when we ain't going to say nothing to you about X, Y, Z. We're going to do, but you got to have that kind of talent. And so players know, hey, you know what? I ain't got that kind of talent. Other teams, they not going to acquiesce, and it's going to cost me. Now, but for the teams, for those players who I'll just say are le cream of le crop, when they start pouting and saying they want out of here, start making a quick, fast plan to let that happen. But make sure that way is on your terms, which is going to be anyway, but you can get away from all the public stuff and no, we not. Make the deal and move on and get some good old draft picks. First Lady, defend.
Well, the NFL is becoming more and more like the NBA when it comes to players demanding trades. I mean, the NFL players really never had leverage like NBA players, but that has been changing lately. Now, in the past, NFL players would play out their current contract and hope negotiations would go in their favor, but not anymore. Now, we know Jalen Ramsey, I can never pronounce it. How do you pronounce Clowney's name? Jadeveon Clowney and Zeke Elliott all sat out to demand more money or be traded, and all three succeeded with trades or receiving a big contract. Okay? Those are the three big name guys that actually tested the waters on demanding trades or, I'll sit the whole year out. Now, many people think these players feel entitlement, but when you look at contracts in the NFL, most are not guaranteed. And that's what happened. And players can be traded or more likely be released before they ever complete their contract. And that's what usually happens, because when teams see that they're big, they got to pay them a big money, they get rid of these players. So NFL careers are extremely short as it is, and unfortunately they're getting shorter. That's why these players should try to get the most money they can in their productive years, because most organizations will release them. Now, on the other hand, yes, the teams, they like to release players, or they like to trade them on their own terms, and it is getting harder to do that, but the teams are holding on, but the problem is when everybody, with media, when everybody knows that particular player wants to get out of your team organization, their value drops precipitously. Say that word. It really drops because of the fact that everybody knows that they want to get out. So, like you said, Spitface, they need to hold tight and then release the player on their terms when they can get the most value for that player. But it's really changing in the NFL, Spitface. It's definitely changing.
Oh, hey, All right, First Lady, please take us to break.
Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2. Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for the funnies. Spitface, over to you.
Yeah. Now, our production crew, they know that one of the things we really like is our stupid criminals. And this week, I think we got an interesting stupid criminal. Thief breaks into YMCA, steals fake cash from toy register. Police are on the lookout for a brazen thief who broke into a YMCA through the ceiling to steal cash from a register. The trouble is neither the cash nor the register were real. Security footage captured the man kicking through the ductwork in the ceiling of the YMCA Child Development Center in Indio, California. He then drops to the floor to break into a cash register, stealing all the money inside before making a daring escape out the door. There's just one problem. The cash in the register in question is a children's toy filled with play money that is worth next to nothing. The Indio Police Department believes this might not be the first acoustic ceiling tile crushing caper this cat burglar has sunk his claws into. Quote, thieves tend to have specific MOs with stuff that they followed and stuff that they are comfortable with. They don't get caught doing it once and they figure, hey, it's a tried and true method, and then they stick to it, explains IBT Sergeant Dan Marshall. Interested. Gosh darn it, water splashing everywhere. It must be time for a favorite underwater friend. It's time for Flip It.
I'm sorry. Okay, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are the talk of the rookie quarterback class. We wonder which one will become a Pro Bowler first. Panel defend. Trevor Lawrence might be the more proficient quarterback, but he's on a lousy team in a tough division. Justin will be a Pro Bowler first. Spitface defend.
Trevor, there's a reason that Trevor was the number one pick. And that's because the team he's on was the number one lousiest team. The Bears had to trade up to get Justin. They had to trade up to get him. And one of the a caveat about Justin that really I think that will help the Bears a lot is, one, he played for Ohio State. Okay, but the important part of him playing in Ohio State is he played in the North, in cold weather, and that's how it's going to roll in Ohio, you know. So the kind of weather that we have in Chicago, okay, he's the kind of quarterback that, hey, I'm used to playing that way and winning, okay? And the Bears they have a better team. That's why they had to trade up. They got stuff to work with. The other part is that Fields, the question was whether who was going to start. Like we know Trevor's going to start, and it's like, oh, well, Justin Fields, he'll come in late. No, jobs is on the line. And the main thing is they cannot, in Chicago, the coach, the GM, they can't do we brought him in and we see that next season, because they'll say, well, we'll see next season with a new GM and a new head coach to work with Justin. But they got to have that boy winning now. So he's going to get to throw that ball and work on it. And if he getting to throw that ball, he will be a Pro Bowler faster than Justin, than Trevor. The thing with Trevor is he's going to have good stats, but not Pro Bowl stats, because he ain't got an offensive line to protect him. And he just will not be able to generate the numbers because of the team that he's on. First Lady, defend.
Well, I thought I was doing the one to tell to defend.
Oh, that's all I got to say, First Lady.
Well, Justin Fields would be a Pro Bowler because Trevor Lawrence, you know, there's several. Well, he'll be one before Trevor Lawrence because there's really several reasons. Firstly, the Chicago Bears are a better television market than Jacksonville, Florida, and Fields will be featured in more national games than Trevor Lawrence, even though he is the number one pick, but still that market is not really going to be able to go to many cities. So, and secondly, despite Lawrence's reputation as a proficient quarterback, actually he's not as accurate as Justin Fields. And like you said, Spitface, the Chicago Bears will have to probably start him because of the fact that, like you said, jobs are on the line, and Nagy needs to come up with wins and to do well in the playoffs. So they really got to start Justin Fields. And Lawrence, basically, his accuracy was at 66%. He had a 66% completion rate, and Fields had a 68% completion rate. But the thing about Fields, where the two are really separated, believe it or not, Fields has a better arm than Lawrence. Fields can really air that ball out much further than Lawrence. And that's going to be a big thing because they're going to need, that's one of the things that was missing for the Bears. They really didn't have a quarterback that can get them really big plays and those throws to their good wide receivers. And finally, Lawrence is going to struggle on a bad team. If we, like you said, Spitface, that's the reason why he is the number one pick, because the Jacksonville Jaguars is not a good team. And the receiving core is not as good as the Chicago Bears. Now, granted, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they got good wide receivers, but Chicago Bears, we talking about Allen Robinson versus Marvin Jones. And I didn't even realize it, but Jimmy Graham is the tight end. We know how great Jimmy Graham is. So Justin Fields has more of an overall elite team to propel him to the Pro Bowl more so than Trevor Lawrence. All right, this is Flip It, so let's defend. Trevor Lawrence is a generational quarterback. His team will be lousy, but his stats will have him as a Pro Bowler at a lot faster than Fields. Spitface defend.
Now, first off, as much as I like Justin Fields, we are talking about the who? Chicago Bears. When was the last quarterback for the Chicago Bears to go into the Hall of Fame. Now, I'm not putting that on Justin Fields because we don't know what the Bears' career is going to be. But if we look at the history of Chicago quarterbacks, Justin, I hope that you can break the cycle, but the history would say no, you won't. And we're talking about a coach and a GM that can do some dunderheaded things, and I could see them actually waiting before they start Justin Fields so they can, for some silly reason. So that's going to impact the kind of stats that he can have to compete as a Pro Bowler. But I think the other thing is that the Bears, because they're actually a better, more balanced team, he may not have to. He may not be able to put up the kind of numbers, mainly because he won't have to put up the kind of numbers, and because they do have that balance. So I think he'll be playing at a Pro Bowl level, but really there are other quarterbacks that will beat him out. Now, Trevor Lawrence, he is a generational QB according to the pundits. But the main thing that's going to help him is that, one, he's going to start. He's just going to get to throw the ball more. He's going to get to throw the ball more, throw the ball. They're going to, every time, it's going to be throwing a first down, second down, third down. They throwing the ball. Fourth down, they ain't even going to kick. It ain't going to be no punch. It's going to be Trevor. Get out there and throw the ball. So he is going to make it to the Pro Bowl simply faster, simply because he's just going to have more opportunities to throw the ball. That's all I'm saying, per se.
Okay, more opportunities to throw the ball. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence will show that he can put up big stats like he did at Clemson. I mean, Trevor Lawrence will be the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars from day one, and we really are not sure if Justin Fields will be the Bears quarterback from day one. He needs to be, but he may not be ready, and more likely the coach and the GM are so erratic with their decisions, especially around quarterbacks. If you remember, they had Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles looking like yo-yos because they was in and out, in and out. You didn't know who was going to be the quarterback every given Sunday. So that's how they may treat Justin Fields, and they have the quarterback. Foles is still there, and so Andy Dalton's there too. So who knows what's going to happen with Justin Fields? Now Lawrence has the opportunity to attain better stats than Fields, but Lawrence is your prototypical 6'6" quarterback who can pass and has athleticism. A lot of people didn't really know he had athleticism, but he does. And he can be a dual threat out of the backfield. Now, Lawrence will be able to show his abilities much more than Fields because Lawrence is going to have the pass more because Jaguars probably will be down more in games than the Bears. And we also know the Bears' offense is more of a ground game, grind it down versus a passing game anyway. So even though Lawrence will be on a team that may not make the playoffs, being a Pro Bowler isn't dependent upon the team's record. Pro Bowlers are picked by the fans, players, and coaches. So it is more likely that Trevor Lawrence will be able to garnish more votes based upon his name alone, and he probably will be like I said, he'll have more completions and more passing yards. So it's a popularity contest, to be honest, with the Pro Bowl. Everybody confuses Pro Bowl before, with the all pro team. All pro team is chosen at the end of the season. So is Pro Bowler, but that's more like the NFL All-Stars, and that's why they allow the fans to pick too. So I believe Trevor Lawrence, based off of his name alone, will have a better chance than Justin Fields. All right, Spitface, over to you to take us to break.
All right, on the other side of the break, we have another performance. Okay, from Redme Heddub, shout out part 2. Please, please, please stay tuned. Bear management.
You are listening to Bras, Panties and Sports. It's time for Shout Out Part 2, the picks, and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from the crew. Spitface, over to you.
We have another performance from Redme Heddub, and it's called DJ. Actually, it's called Last Night. DJ, let's hear Last Night. All right. That was Last Night. First Lady, last night took me back to the 60s. And specifically, you know, movies from the 60s and 70s about Vietnam. And in those movies, they would always be a scene where the soldiers would be hanging out in like some little bar having some drinks, and they'd have a bad music group playing in the background. But the soldiers didn't care because, you know, hey, we ain't fighting. We able to, you know, kind of, you know, have some drinks and and talk and, kind of not to have to worry about, bullets flying over our head. And the band, so they pay attention to the band. It was just something to be there, and they'd have a bad singer, So I saw movies like that. Mute button. Mute.
Hey, I know what you're talking about because I remember the Soldier Story, but they had Patti LaBelle singing in the background.
No, that was the good. See, that was the good. We ain't talking about the jamming one. No, we talking about the ones where it was the sad. It was like, oh my God, make you want to go back out. Make you want to go back out and fight. Look, I'll just go on and fight. I go ahead and deal with the Viet Cong.
Okay, I don't think last night made me feel like that, but you're right. No. I'm hitting the mute button all the way, and I'm sorry, Redme Heddub. I mean, you tried, but this not my cup of tea. Okay?
That's to say it lightly. That is the end of shout out. If you like what you heard from Redme Heddub, check him out at redmeheddub.com. That's Redme Heddub HEDDUB.com and Old Grumpy Radio. If you'd like to be heard or have any comments, please send your emails and tracks to content at oldgrumpyradio.com. First Lady, back to you.
Who will win the hardwood crown? Now, production crew, because we're in Memorial Day weekend, they just decided to take their early weekend, and we didn't have the results from last week, so we're going to give them a break because they definitely want to remember. So anyway, for the upcoming picks, let's get to it. By the end of day Saturday, Jazz will lead series over the Grizzlies. $500,000 for the correct answer, and $500,000 for the incorrect answer. I'm going to say yes. The Jazz will lead the series. It should be over with, hopefully, by then. All right, Spitface?
Yes.
Okay. Dallas will lead series over Clippers. $500,000 for the correct answer, minus $500 for the incorrect answer. Spitface?
I'm going to roll with the Mavs.
I'm not rolling with the Mavs because the Mavs had a 2-0 lead. They won both games in L.A., and they come back and lay an egg in Dallas because now the series is tied up 2-2. And I'm sorry, I think the Clippers have all the momentum. So nope. All right, Trailblazers will lead series over Nuggets. $500 for the correct answer, minus $500 for the incorrect answer. I am going to say yes. I think the Trailblazer can win this series. Spitface.
Yes, Blazers.
Lakers will lead series over Phoenix. $500 for the correct answer, minus $500 for the incorrect answer. Spitface.
Not with not with AD suspect, but my man is just an injury waiting to happen. His big toe, something go. Now he got hamstrings is no. The Lakers will not lead the series.
I agree with you because if AD can't play, and like you said, hamstrings, they usually they're not fixed overnight. Hamstrings have kept people out for at least 3 weeks. So there's no chance. The Lakers have absolutely no chance without AD. All right, Wizards will lead series over 76ers. $500,000 for the correct answer, minus $500 for the incorrect answer. Oh, how can I say this? Hell to the no. All right. Spitface.
Wizards fans, it looks like getting one more win. A W is going to be darn near impossible. So nope.
Look. By Saturday, who knows? Because by Saturday they may be playing another team. All right, the Knicks will lead series over the Hawks. 500 for the correct answer, minus 500 for the incorrect answer. Spitface?
It's looking rough for the Knicks. It's looking rough for them. I'm going to have to go with them Hawks.
Okay. Well, let's look at it. The Hawks are leading 3-1. By Saturday, the Knicks will lead series over the Hawks. Well, I'm going to say, to be honest with you, I think it's going to be a tie because they play Wednesday, and I think they're playing again Friday. So I don't know. I'm going to say no, only because there's no way that the Knicks can be over the Hawks by Saturday because they down 3-1. So it's impossible. So, I mean, even though, my heart is with the Knicks, but I have a feeling they're going to come back. They can do it. All right, Boston will lead the series over the Nets. 500,000 for the correct answer, minus 500 for the incorrect answer. Spitface?
The Nets got this one.
I know. The producers really they would like for us to increase our points because these were like no-brainers. LeBron will have a triple-double, 500,000 for the correct answer, minus 500 for the incorrect answer. Whew. Well, you know what? If AD is playing, the answer is no, because that means LeBron going to have to score more than he's going to be dishing out. And so I'm going to say no. Spitface?
LeBron is subject to get a triple-double, in any given game. But I think I'm going to go with you first. I think I'm going to say not in this series.
Mm-hmm. That's right. All right, so our production crew was off with the statistics this week. We'll definitely have everything by next week. All right, Spitface, what is the top story to watch this week?
The 100-year commemoration of the massacre in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And as they say, blood on Black Wall Street, where black folks were actually aerial bombed to out of an incident, but really the incident was the background of the incident was that these black folks had the nerve to be successful and to be actually earning their own way and surpassing white folk. All right, so there's going to be a lot about that this week, but I go to the top story is going to be the 100-year commemoration of the Tulsa Massacre.
As a matter of fact, Spitface, there's a lot of different shows coming out about that. Matter of fact, I missed it this weekend. History Channel did a show on the Tulsa Massacre, and LeBron James, his production company has done a special on this, and it's going to be airing on CNN, I believe, on Monday, Memorial Day. So, yes, like you said, there's been a lot of different shows coming out about the Black Wall Street. Actually, my top story is the fact that AD may be out from the playoffs because of that sprained hamstring. So we'll see. That's going to be talked about. That's a big story if AD can't play. So we'll see. Well, we know we are celebrating and remembering all of our fallen soldiers on Memorial Day. And I just wanted to say in 1917, Loretta Ross became the first woman to enlist in the military as a woman. And in 1948, law made women a permanent part of the military services. And in 1976, while Jimmy Carter was president, the first group of women were admitted into the U.S. Military Academy. And Jimmy Carter once said, quote, My decision to register women confirms what it already obviously, let me read that again. My decision to register women confirms what is already obvious throughout our society, that women are now providing all types of skills in every profession. The military should be no exception. And that was said, unquote, by President Jimmy Carter. So we salute all our fallen soldiers, and a special shout-out to the women. And I also want to shout out to Veterans Women's Enterprise Center, our partners in empowering our women warriors fighting the business battles. Visit them at veteranswomen'sec.org. Let me repeat that. veteranswomen'sec.org. Please visit us at braspantysports.com, where you'll find the links for the latest episode. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports.